unlearned, of a person not well educated, unlearned, not having been learned. All right. What do you mean by unlearned? All right. To put out of one's knowledge or memory, to undo the effect. No, that's not what I wanted. Is there such a word as unlearned? Not learned, not scholarly, not erudite, uneducated, untaught, unschooled, ignorant. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Wahab Rakab Kwadash, double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, the men that taught me this truth through the Spirit. Peace and blessings to you, brothers that's teaching this word, the truth and sincerity. Peace and blessings to the rest of the elect of the house of Israel that's scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So, the highlighted word of today is unlearned. Okay? Because some recent videos been popping up that you have a man boasting about being scholarly and boasting how he know things and other people don't, and how people are foolish or unlearned because they don't know the things that he knows, right? And the reason why I'm highlighting this word unlearned, because it's that thin line. You know, we always bring up the thin line, you know, the scales, the balance, right? The thin line between being scholarly by studying to show yourself approved, making full proof of your ministry. You're learning, you're searching, researching, looking up the meaning of words, the etymology, going into the Hebrew and Greek. You're studying, right? It's that thin line, right? You're learning the scriptures, learning the truth, learning the history, learning maps and, you know, wars, and you learning, you know, customs, traditions, learning all those things, right? To make full proof of your ministry. And then it's that thin line, right? You're learning these things just to be boastful. You're learning these things just for vainglory. You're learning these things just to have a one-up, right? Versus to give glory to Yahawashi, Yahawashi. Versus to prove all things in the scriptures, right? That thin line from being spiritual to being carnal, right? To make this not a thing about truth, but to make this a thing about you. It's that thin line, right? So we highlighting the word unlearn because I find it interesting that the men that will be the future rulers of the planet Earth, that will be sitting in 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel and the whole world in that regards, they was considered to be unlearned men, right? And we're going to get into it because it shows that, you know, your glorying is not good, you know. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? What you boasting and bragging about is vain and pointless, right? I'm going to get into the scriptures, but I just wanted to build on this point because you hear the apostles and elders and certain elder brothers say, yeah, you got to be studious. You got to be like the church of Berea. And yeah, they searched out what everything that Paul said. And right, you take those things literally, right? versus the message, which is study the scriptures. Know what you're talking about. Understand before you rebuke, right? Make full proof of your ministry. Be able to prove all things concerning the scriptures, right? That was the message. But Jake took that shit literally, right? And then it became something else. It became a corruptible crown versus giving glory to Yahawashi. Now let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. First and foremost, I want to start with this before we get the account. Let's go to what the Messiah says. Right? Matthew's chapter 11, verse 25. At that time, Yahawashi answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. Let's look up this word wise. There goes Satan. Right? When we look up this word wise.
Strong's G 4680. Safas.
Safas, right? It says wise, skilled, expert of artifacts, wise, skilled in letters, cultivate, learn of the Greek philosophers and orators, of Jewish theologians, of Christian teachers, forming the best plans and using the best means for their execution. So Yahawashi said, I thank thee, O Father, from hiding what? Hiding the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Hiding what? The faith. Hiding what? Mercy, grace, forgiveness, right? The true message, context, meaning of Yahawashi and his word, right? I thank thee, O Father, from hiding, right? From Jewish theologians. What is a theologians? Theo meaning gods, logians meaning study of, right? Ology meaning study of. So the study of Theos, study of the Most High, right? Which is the Lord's statutes, commandments, which goes back to the scribes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? The different sects of Israelites that was going over the laws daily. Born, raised, kept all the ceremonies, civil, dietary, right? Forgive me, hold on 1 second. Right? They was born into it. They was taught it since they was youth, from youth up until they became of age and started to teach it themselves, right? Yahawashi said that it was hid onto them. Now, this is your scholars, your modern day scholars, right? These are your modern day theologians. These people that go away to seminary schools. They literally pay thousands of dollars, go to colleges to learn about the Bible, right? But it's still hid onto them. It's still, the true meaning of the scriptures is still hid from them because the Spirit didn't reveal it to them. The Spirit didn't choose them, right? So it says, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent. So we learned that wise meaning Jewish theologians, people that was skilled, people that was educated, and has revealed them onto babes. Let's look up this word babes. Right?
Strong's G 3516. Napios,
Napios, right? It says an infant, a little child, a minor not of age. Metaphor, childish, untaught, and unskilled. So the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, faith, grace, peace, the true context and meaning of the scriptures was revealed to unscholarly men, unskilled men, men that did not come up in Jewish theological seminaries, right? Didn't come up in the school of Torah or Tharara, right? Check. Childish, untaught, unskilled, right? So, oh Father, I'm reading NLT. Oh Father, heaven and earth, thank you for hiding these things from them who think themselves to be wise and clever, and revealing them to them that are childlike. When you're a child, you don't know. You're not taught, or you're not educated the way an adult is. You're not educated the way a person that went to school all their life. That's who the Lord revealed this truth to. So you have men today bragging about being scholars because they know certain technicalities about the scriptures, but still don't grasp the spiritual understanding of the scriptures. Now, I wanted to get into the next one. This is the book of Acts. I want to get the context, so I got to read through this whole passage. I could have just read the point, but I want to get the understanding. Acts chapter 4, verse 1. And as they spake unto the people, the priests and the captains of the temples and the Sadducees came upon them, being grieved that they taught the people and preached through Yahawashi the resurrection from the dead. And they laid hands on them and put them in hold unto the next day, for it was now evening tide. So they beat the shit out the disciples, which became apostles, because they was teaching Yahawashi and they healed the men, right? And then they locked them up. Howbeit, many of them which heard the word believed, and the number of the men was about 5,000. So 5,000 men was converted from from the apostles preaching during Acts 2nd chapter, right? When it came to pass on the morrow that the rulers, elders, and scribes, and Ananias, the high priest, and Caiaphas, and John, and Alexander, and as many as were of the kindreds of the high priest, were gathered together at Jerusalem. And when they had set them in the midst, they asked, by what power or by what name have ye done this? How did you heal this guy? By what power and what name? Right? Then Peter, filled with the Holy Spirit, right, said unto them, ye rulers of the people and elders of Israel. He was speaking with some tone, with some bass in his voice, with some conviction, as he knew what he was talking about, right? He spoke as one that had authority, like his master Yahawashi, right? If we this day be examined of the good deed done to the impotent man, by what means he was made whole, being known all to you all, and to all the people of Yasharallah, that by the name Yahawashi Mashiach of Nazareth, whom ye crucified, whom Yahweh raised from the dead, even by him do this man stand here before you whole. So by the power of Yahawashi, who Yahweh raised from the dead, right? Through his name and through his power, we was able to make this lame man walk again. This is the stone which was set at naught, of ye builders, which is become the head of the corner. So Yahawashi is the first stone. He's the cornerstone. The cornerstone is the stone that sets off the foundation, is the beginning and the start of the whole entire building, of any building. It must begin with the cornerstone. It must begin with the foundation. Can't be any other stone. You can't have a random stone in a random area. It always must begin with the cornerstone, right? And that was Yahawashi. He was the foundation stone, right? That started the new temple, the third temple, the new church, right? The new place Israel will come to worship the Father through the Son and serve the Father through the Son. So this is the stone which is set at naught of ye builders, which has become the head of the corner. So you are trying, right, to build something. You are trying to keep your positions as rulers and governors and the leaders of Israel, but you refuse to build upon Yahawashi. You refuse to believe upon Yahawashi, right? Read it on. Neither is there salvation in any other. So there's deliverance no other way. For there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Now, this ain't literally talking about there's no other name, because Yahawashi was a common name. Joshua was a common name. But there's no other person that has the title or the reputation that Yahawashi has. Yahawashi is the only man that has that position. He has that title, right? So it says, now, when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned men and ignorant, it was ignorant men, they marveled. Why did they marvel? Because they were speaking with boldness, they were speaking with conviction, and they were saying things that was written in the scriptures. But these men was not educated in the law. They didn't come up like the Pharisees and Sadducees and scribes, right? They thought they were just idiots because they following this man that said that he was raised from the dead. They thought they was drunkards. They thought they was crazy because they believed in this guy that said that he healed people and he was going to come back from the dead, and he said that the temple was going to break. This crazy guy, right? So they perceived that they was unlearned men. But when Peter and John was speaking at this council, they was like, oh shit, how the hell, He's speaking like he know what the hell he's talking about. How does he know about that in Psalms? Let's look up these words. When they saw Peter, boldness. Let's look up the word boldness. Freedom of speaking, unreservedness in speech, openly, frankly, without the use of finger and comparisons, free and fearless, cheerful, courage, boldness, right? They were just speaking openly. He wasn't speaking parabolic. He wasn't speaking in analogies. He was being straightforward. As the saying goes, can I be frank? Let's look up this word, unlearned. Unlearned.
Strong's G62. Agrammatos. Agrammatos.
Illiterate. unlearned, right? Unversed in the learning of Jewish schools. So the Pharisees and Sadducees was looking at Peter and John as they was unlearned in the Torah. They didn't come up as they came up. So why are they speaking with so much conviction and boldness? How are they quoting things from the Old Testament, right? Let's look up this word illiterate. Let's do web search. Unable to read or write. A person who is unable to read and write. Having little or no education, especially unable to read or write, in an illiterate population, showing or marked by a lack of acquaintance with fundamentals in particular field of knowledge. Musically illiterate. Yep. All right. So that's it on that. So they was perceived to be unlike. Oh, let's look up this word ignorant.
Strong's G 2399. Idiotes. Idiotes.
A private person opposed to a magistrate, ruler, king, a common soldier, as opposed to a military officer. In the New Testament, an unlearned, illiterate man, as opposed to the learned and educated, one who is unskilled in any art. Right? Now, when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, they perceived. Now, let's read the NLT. The members of the council were amazed when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, for they could see that they were ordinary men with no special training in the scriptures. Come on, man. Check. They also recognized them as men who has been with Yahawashi. And beholding the man which healed standing with them, they could say nothing against it. All right. Pretty much that's it. Oh, let's get the last scripture because these unlearned men, they're going to be the rulers. All right. Out of Yahawashi's mouth himself, which was told by the Father. Remember, Yahawashi went on to the men the Father sent him to. Right? Matthew 19:27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and follow thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahawashi said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory. Ye also, unlearned men, unschooled men, unskilled men, ignorant men, right? These men was perceived to be ignorant, unskilled, untaught in Torah, right? Ye also, the disciples which became apostles, shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. There you go, man. I pray and hope, because the whole message about this is be humble, man. Be humble. Because once again, everybody that boasts and brags and rants about being all-knowing and being this and that, the Most High usually humbles them. It makes them an example. Just be humble, man, and give glory to the Father and the Son, because that's what this is about. I pray and hope that you was edified. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Waha, Rakah, Kwadash. All right? Till next time I say shalom. On to the next, man.